So here's what I want to talk about today. And the law of focus has been the topic of conversation for the last few weeks. And we have an event coming up. And the cool thing is the Mark Gungor event on marriage, you guys have actually been to years ago. And as you were telling me stories about it, if you don't know Jeremy, sometimes he can be a little quiet. But when this topic came up, he was not. And I was like, oh. So
I'm a fan of Mark Gungor. Yes.
A fan of Mark Gungor.
Yes.
So I would like for you to just give me some examples of things that you learned from going to that event that you can remember, because it's been a few years. And you can even kind of paint a picture of where you guys were, where your struggles were, where you were coming out of, and how that really helped you get a foundation for who you are today, which is crazy when you shared with me. So I'm going to turn it over to you two. I'm going to let you go first, Jeremy, and then we'll have Trina do the add-ins.
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
So she's like the color commentator, and I'm just like the play-by-play.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
That's perfect.
All right. So, we went to Mark Gungor. I think it was about 10 years ago. We had 3 kids at the time. They were about 5, 3, and 1 or something like that. Pretty
lots of little kids.
Young family. And just lots going on with life. We had just bought a house and small property. It was a fixer-upper, and so just lots going on. And I don't even remember how we heard about Mark Gungor at the time, but he was doing his Laugh Your Way event at a church not too far from us. So we did the stuff that we had to do for finding people to watch the kids who were young. And
it's the first time we'd done anything like that. I remember it was a new thing.
Yeah, because it was, at the time it seemed like a huge commitment to have this late evening and drive home, get home late, and then early the next morning head out. It was close enough to drive each day into the event. We didn't have to think about overnight, but it was still logistics of getting there. And but I just remember hearing Mark, and it was just so practical and yet so fun. The way he talks about just everyday things that are like so down to earth, and that husbands and wives experience, and but his perspective on it was so fresh and new. It wasn't the same old stale, husbands love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her. It was nothing like that. And at the same time, in something that Mark talks about, there was the emotion of humor and fun tied to the event, that the things that he talked about just stuck.
Yeah.
And they're things that, have just been part of just the way we understand each other.
Yeah, they've been a part of our personal language and code ever since. Code words. They say that's a good idea to have code words, like between a couple, and we have code words still that we can trace back to that event, and conversation starters and ways to increase communication that came because of that shared experience. And like Jeremy said, the laughter was a huge part of it. Otherwise, I don't think we could have handled what the upgrade our marriage got. It's like the laughter just greased everything over, because we were both really challenged by that, and had some things that we got to, some very practical things we got to shift around, and just a lot more understanding. I don't know how we had been married that long without learning what we learned at that conference.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Like you're like, wait, what?
And the other thing that is just so cool about the event and about the way that Mark presents is he never gets on, the wives of, you need to do this and you need to change this and do all this, and the guys, you need to, do. He really doesn't address a lot of things that you need to change. It's more talking to men about why their wives act the way they do, why they say what they do, and just their perspective, and then for the wives about why does your husband do what he does. And it's not because there's something wrong with him, it's the way God made him. And when you something that he says is, when you understand why someone does what they do, it changes everything.
takes a lot of the pressure off and the offense and the perception, which is literally, I think perception can poison a relationship.
Absolutely.
Very slowly over time. Like small health choices, like what you decide to put in your mug.
Right.
Over time, over a long space of time. And that's what happened was it was little things and just stuff just lifting off of our marriage, just shedding weight. It's like our marriage literally released weight that weekend.
Right. It's crazy. Just how you two are interacting about it is refreshing. Because what it does is it reminds me of when April and I heard him for the first time. What it really did is it almost gave us a little bit. You know how you wish you had that manual about the woman? Mm-hmm. He starts giving you tidbits of what I call an outline of how God made women, and for the women, how God made man. And why there's generalities. When you get into specific things of how he's teaching, I have yet to find where it's not true.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's very perceptive in that. And edifying, like he doesn't say, he's a loser because, and she's a loser because. It's the understanding he brings allows you to suddenly see your spouse in a new light, that maybe like years of marriage we hadn't seen, and we still like to listen to his podcast. We love his humor.
And he's going to push some buttons, and I'm going to forewarn people. He is. When I look at what Danny would teach at Hot Marriage Secrets and some of the stuff that we're going to be discussing on Friday night, you're going to see edges pushed. And one of them is to knock off kind of the perception of the church. And we used an example, as we were talking earlier, is Mark did an example years ago, but he had a Kleenex box and a picture of a roller coaster. And he said, this is most how church people approach sex. And it's a Kleenex box. And figure that out yourself. The other side is a roller coaster. Whee! One is yay. So which one do you want? And he's really giving practical ideas, but in respect of how God created each person.
Yeah.
And how you feel comfortable in that in your relationship. But really knowing how confines have been placed on things and how to respect one another in the most holy of places in marriage.
Yeah. And how God's design in that from a human perspective is like totally backwards. Like, why couldn't he made us to get along better? But no, he did it on purpose because the way he made a man's brain to work and his drive to function is a reminder for him of what his wife needs and vice versa. And so, really Mark just hits the nail on the head for how to understanding the way that I'm designed as a man, the way that my wife is designed as a woman. God didn't make a mistake when he set it up the way he did.
Yeah.
It was very much on purpose. So being able to learn about those things in such a fun, we keep saying this, but we laughed so hard that weekend. I think up until that point, there's probably the most I've ever laughed at
an event. Yeah.
An event.
Yeah.
Or even
well,
a comedy movie or something like that it's a lot of fun.
And I'm so glad that was our first marriage conference we ever went to, because I feel like it set the tone for what deepening our marriage could look and feel like. So he's always game for because we know that it can be fun. We know that it can actually be a lot of fun to get an upgrade, to do anything that would further enrich our marriage. I love it's kind of been just it's what we blueprinted on, and I'm so excited that we get to come back and experience it again. Because
I'm excited, to be able to come back 10 years later, and to hear maybe some new things that either are maybe they'll be presented in a new way, maybe we'll be in a different place, whatever.
For sure in a different place.
But I'm super excited to be able to, sit through this event again 10 years later, and and what new things are we going to take out of it that are going to be totally different than what we did. 10 years
I think
ago.
the thing that I loved about the event, and anything from Mark, is that because of his approach, because of that humor approach, it gets you gently deeper into those deeper topics.
Mm-hmm.
So you're laughing together, you've already had a shared experience,
Right.
and then you can talk about something that otherwise just bringing it up cold turkey is maybe just not going to fly, to mix a couple metaphors. But you've laughed, and then you've created this safe environment. He's really good at that. And then once you have that shared experience, you go back and like, remember when he said this? And then you're like, well, yeah, but, and then actually this is what I was actually feeling. It, like for us, it taught us how to go deeper in a way that felt safe and fun.
That unto itself creates a home environment where a husband and wife can communicate about something that can be so difficult.
Yeah.
Basically, because of our really our religious backgrounds, religiosity, the boundaries placed on things. Oh, don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Figure it out yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, we don't go there.
Yeah, we don't go there. Yeah. That's not part of the book that we discovered. The Song of Solomon is not a real book in the Bible. Yes, it is. Read it.
It's
So-
just poetry.
It's an analogy. It's an analogy.
We won't even go there.
Mark
Mark's
will,
going to
though.
go there.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to go there on March 18th and 19th, and you need to be there because it's going to be hot. It's going to be fun. The fact that he was willing to come here, this man is, people don't quite understand what I'm trying to help them understand. Right? We have not gravitated. I've got a guy who's got millions of views. Yes, you can go view his stuff on YouTube. He's got some stuff out there, just like some of Danny's stuff is out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The fact is everything that we're going to cover is not out there.
Yeah.
Correct.
And we're doing this is going to be his first fully virtual event ever.
Yeah.
So he's super excited about it. He's nervous, but he's ready. It's kind of fun. He's but he changed his travel plans. He's going to spend some time down here
Oh, nice.
with us. Yeah, so it's quite amazing. And he's going to enjoy
Well,
the
who
Texas
wouldn't
Hill
want
Country.
to? It's the Texas Hill Country.
Exactly.
In late March, like what better time to come visit
It's gorgeous.
Texas?
Think about that for a minute and everything that's up for the rest of you too, right? So, we're working to get things back live and get everybody back down to the Texas Hill Country soon. So, yes, we are looking to take the April event, First Steps to Success, April 29th through May 1st, live in person. We need some commitments to get there. You know what we're up against.
Yep.
But we're pushing hard to do it. We're going to have to find out some answers probably no later than mid part of next week if we're going to be able to make the 350 commitment. So,
Yeah.
don't want to sign up for something we can't meet because we also need to be.
Because I've got a lot of buttons to make work.
That's
so.
right, and we have War on Debt, and we have a commitment to Miss Johnson that everything that we do will be honoring because ultimately we are feeding the widow, the orphan, the poor, and if we're not
Yes.
doing that, we shouldn't be doing anything. So,
Yep. And we
what?
get to laugh while we do it. This is going to be awesome.
Well, I want you to look in that camera, and I want you to tell them. I want you to tell them they need to be here.
Well, it just would be really, really great to be back together again. And I know how transformative every event that I've attended from this company has been. I'm pretty tickled that two of my favorite entities are getting together in March, and then that we could be together again in April. Because I don't know about you, but like it's a reset and a reboot every time.
Right.
And community has been one of the most powerful things in my life, and it's rare and hard to come by in our current world. But I always know when I come to Destiny Global Community that it's going to be a place of massive growth, and fun and laughter. So, yeah.
And just because it's on YouTube, so you can go find bootleg copies of movies on YouTube too.
That's a good point. That is true.
But you still go to the ticket box office and you still go see the movie.
Exactly.
The energy is different.
Right. It is different because it's going to be live and it's going to be unique because we're also doing something that he never does. And I had to work on him at this one. I had to use my skill, Trina. So we're going to do a live Q&A at the end.
Oh.
And then I get to take his 4 flags and put them into context in a bigger picture of our teachings on gems.
Ooh.
So I am, woohoo.
That's going to be
We're going to
fun.
have some fun. I get to teach with Mark Gungo.
Sounds like a hybrid
Nice.
experience.
It really is.
It's going to be, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be bridging a lot of things, and people, they don't understand the perspective that he brings. This man is a multi-millionaire, number one. He's pastors a church, but that's not where he did. He's actually did the same thing I did. He has another job, right?
Mm-hmm.
He speaks and does things for people and blesses people, and very successful, hugely successful. Gives
And
back.
when you meet him, you'll know why.
Oh,
Like,
exactly. His communication skills and abilities, and he'll just take you there.
yeah.
And ride that pony all the way down as you're laughing because you're either going to laugh or you're going to cry. And I prefer to laugh, especially because it's so revealing and just moving. So
Yeah.
I want to thank you two for coming and sharing and joining us, and
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
really appreciate you two. Love
I'm
you too.
really
And-
excited. Just talking about this is like, oh my gosh, it's
I
coming.
know you can
It's
feel the
coming.
momentum.
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Wow.
Score.
Way to hit me. That's right. I'm so busy. Yeah, right. I'm in the forest. I can't see the trees, Jeremy. Oh,
It's
yeah,
2 weeks from tomorrow, so
Yeah.
that's why you need to get registered now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Get your friends. Have a group together. Laugh together. We do have 5 spots still open for in office. 5. Well,
You're not taking my spot, right?
no,
that
you
doesn't
already
count my
got your spot. You're
All right,
good.
I got my spot.
But we have room for 5 more people for an in office experience, and you need to ping Nellie if you would like to do that. So, and we'll throw the phone number up beneath so that you can get that if you want to join us live here in Kerrville in studio, because Mr. Mark
Yeah.
Gunger is going to be here. So
And we'll be here.
yeah,
an
and
upgrade.
the Holdens
Get
are
an
going to be here.
upgrade.
Yeah, they're upgrades. They're upgrades. So there you go. So want to thank you all for joining. Thank you for spending this morning time with us, and God bless you, and have a most amazing day. And thank you to another edition of Coffee with Ken.